And then one last question. When Tupac came out to New York to do Saturday Night Live, if I'm not mistaken, you came from Jersey with a bunch of people to the show. Is that accurate? And if so, can you tell me the story about that and what you remember?
That's accurate, of course, because it was like either the first or the second time that Pac was coming back to the East Coast. So, the part of Jersey I'm from is 30 minutes from Manhattan. So we was able to get up with my brothers, my cousins, the homies. We brought a bunch of guns out there. I think Reggie would tell you that. I think when they was in the limo, I was on the corner and I lifted up my shirt and showed them that I had a gun on me. And we was up there deep. You know what I mean? We was up there deep. We just wanted to make sure that everything was good. Also, Fatal, Gaddafi, Noble homies, they came up there deep. So it was a lot of us. So thank God that day at the park, Nas and Pac was able to handle it like mature, gentlemen, and show us that you don't have to always rely on violence or, because ain't no telling what would have happened. Because you got to remember, the homies I was with were strapped up. The homies that Fatal had was strapped up. Death Row Records have security. Then they also had their homies. So it could have went crazy. And of course, Nas had his homies. So I'm kind of glad that it happened the way it happened. You know what I mean? One second. I'm kind of glad that it happened the way it happened, but it could have been a bloody situation for sure. I believe, I was there. I was also at the Saturday Night Live show, if I'm not mistaken, because I remember an incident happened with one of my homies and Suge. I believe it's the same incident where I believe it definitely was Saturday Night Live, yes. Suge took one of my homies in a room and he was mad at something he said and and I went in there and I remember pushing Suge's hand and because he was pointing at one of my homies and when I pushed his hand, then Pac got mad at me. Because Pac he was always about that loyalty, like, Moo, you with us, and this and this and that, and you supposed to be the first one bombing on your homie, but these are dudes I came from the sandbox with, that I grew up with, you know what I mean? So I'm like, man, I ain't about to bomb on my homie. I guess he said something about the cigar smoke, and it got back to Stormy. Stormy told Suge, and Suge grabbed him and took him in the room. It was crazy, bro. And I came, and the security was like, you can't come in the room, boy. I said, man, I'm getting in the room. And Suge he was a little dude, my homie, and Suge was pointing at him, and I remember pushing Suge's hand. And Pac went crazy on me, bro.
How did that situation escalate?
I grabbed Suge's hand like this, like, chill, bro. You know what I mean? And Pac just snapped on me. What you mean, chill? Like, Pac, because Pac was on that. You supposed to be the first one bombing on your homie. What do you mean, chill? This and this and that. And my homie was crying, like he was like I couldn't let and I felt sorry for him.
And then how did all that end and work out?
It worked like when Suge was pointing at him and I grabbed Suge home like, chill, man, this is my man, and Pac just started going crazy, and eventually they let him out the room.
Okay, so that's a little story that I don't think anybody's ever heard before.
I don't think nobody ever. Because Pac was on that, you should be the first one bombing on the move. What you mean, chill? Beat him up, like, you know what I mean? I'm like, bro, it doesn't work like this.
And did you get your friend out of the room and be like, man, you got to go home?
He got out the room, and luckily he got out the room because this dude had a homie, like his uncle was a killer. His uncle was there. So his uncle was walking back and forth from the room. You know what I mean? Basically, his uncle nickname was the Reaper. We used to call him the Reaper growing up in the neighborhood. Even though me and my family fell out with this guy, but at that particular time, he was known to be a killer. And he was going back and forth out the door, and he was thinking about, I might just have to kick this door in and start shooting. Like that's what he was about to do. You know what I mean? But eventually they let him out.